What's up, Cavs fans? We are live for the first episode of Back in Gold. Yeah, it's the first episode. We're not expecting an audience, really. Let's be honest. It's the first. If we get people, we'll be happy. But we're here. The Cavs played their first Summer League game, and there's a lot to be excited about. So who am I? I am Matt Thomas, and this is my co-host, Connor Breedlove. We've been friends for, I can't believe it's been this long, but nearly 8 years now.
Yeah.
And one thing that we've always bonded over that us and our other mutual friends couldn't really bond over is the Cleveland Cavaliers. And that really came to a head this season with the rebirth of this team.
Oh, yeah.
So we wanted to do this. Connor pitched this idea to me a while back, and I told him, when the time's right, we'll do it. Time's right, bright future, great drafts, and yeah, I'm ready to go, man.
Yeah, the past few drafts, kind of set the way for the young core, and last season was fantastic, and I think they're going to keep building on that.
Yeah, and building on that, they are like it is everything you could want it to be so far. It's very great to just walk into having such a, I shouldn't say walk in, but the development process for this team is been great. Like,
I mean, it was like a 3 or 4 year rebuild, but we got there. We had Colin Sexton and Darius, and then Okoro, Mobley, and now we saw a little bit from Ochai today, and he
tonight,
he looked great. I liked what I saw from him. But that's not all we got today. We got some news. Well, I mean, we already knew it was going to happen, but it was made official today with the signings. Ricky Rubio's back.
Connor's favorite player.
Yeah. And we found out they couldn't settle on a sign-in trade. So they used part of the mid-level, which is fine, and I think they're fine with it. There wasn't really buddy like on the market that they wanted to use, so they just used some of the mid-level. Robin Lopez as a backup. They made that official today, and then I found out it's actually Raul Neto.
Yeah,
that's how you pronounce his name, not Raul. It's Raul Neto.
Everyone pronounces it Raul.
Yeah. But he was a dog in Washington last season, and I'm excited to. Obviously, they're bringing him in because Rubio's not going to be in right away, still recovering from that ACL. But that's a good, another good backup point guard. It's going to be exciting.
Yeah, and I mean, I personally, a small part of me is like, there's a couple other backup point guards I'd rather have, but I'll take it. You're not even sugarcoating it. You're like, Goody, just give me Goody. That's all you want. Goody.
I loved Goody. I loved him. He was so good.
He really was. He really was, but he was more of a scorer.
Yeah.
And you go ahead and Neto. I'll just say Neto. Neto is more of a facilitator, just prototypical point guard.
Yeah.
So I get it. I'm not too upset. I'll miss Brandon Goodwin and everything he's done for this team. Maybe he'll end up in a training camp battle and they decide, you know what? Neto's on a minimum. Let's just go ahead and sign Goodwin to a minimum instead. Who knows?
Yeah.
So, but other than that news, we're primarily here to talk about, or at least for tonight. Other episodes will of course be different.
Yeah.
But tonight we got one thing to talk about, and that's the Summer League game. We're going to highlight the rookies, of course, because that's who people really care about right now.
Yeah.
So starting off, you kind of already touched on it a little bit, but Ochai Agbaji, he had 16 points, 3 rebounds, 2 assists on 5 of 11 shooting and 4 of 9 from 3. I could not have asked for a better debut.
Yeah. This is what the Cavs need, kind of desperately, is like a like a wing that can shoot threes. And I know he's going to be more of like a guard, but they can use him as a wing. And
he's 6'5". It's at this point the NBA for
is positionless basketball.
2 and 3 is positionless at this point.
But 3-point shooting is what they needed, and that's seems like that's what they're going to get out of this guy. And he looked really good from the three. What was his percentage from the three? It was like 60. So 44.
44 because it was 4-9, so just under 45%.
So I mean that's great. I didn't catch the whole game because I was at work, but how does defense look?
His defense looked solid. It wasn't great, but it was solid. We'll talk about somebody else's defense beyond solid in a little bit, but overall, I enjoyed watching him. He gave us a look of what could be for this team, and what he could be going forward.
Mm-hmm.
So, 16 points, nothing to scoff at. 5 of 11 shooting, not bad at all. And I mean, what else could you want from a rookie performance? It's solid play. The age, you could tell, helped him. He was definitely much more comfortable than other players out there. He paired well with RJ Nembhard, who I'll touch on for a little bit right here. Nembhard, he kind of went off. He had 20 points, 40% shooting from the field, and just had a nice, solid all-around game. Basically, what was going on was towards the end of it, we had a blowout. It was a blowout. Spurs cut back into it in the last couple minutes because Josh Primo just started hitting shot after shot, but the game was never really in doubt at that point, so it wasn't as big of a deal. But overall, I thought this team had a nice, solid performance, and that's all you can ask for. Connor had to dip out for a moment, but before he gets back, I'll touch on this. I'll open up on this one because I think I'll be a little more complimentary of this than he will, and that is Isaiah Mobley. Mobley didn't shoot great. However, he showed confidence in his floor spacing ability. He rebounded the ball extremely well, and he played very solid defense. When I hear the name Mobley, that's kind of the defense is what I expect, considering who we know his brother is. I was, for the most part, satisfied and happy with his performance. Could have shot better, but at the same time, as long as he's looking confident in what he's doing, then that's all I care about, really. And it's one of those things where we're going to have to live with it or die with it. But I'm fine with that. He's a young guy. He's going to have to learn. And I'm not looking for him to be flashy. He's on a 2-way deal. So with that in mind, I just want to see him develop to the point where he can become a rotational piece. And they used a draft pick on it. The draft pick they paid to get. So with that in mind, I don't think this is an Antetokounmpo situation where, even though Thanis had a great career of his own over in Greece, he's been okay in the NBA. I don't think this is the Antetokounmpo situation. Thanasis. This is more so about, hey, we need to get another young big in here. Let's have one that can space the floor a little bit. He and Evan have similar games. Evans is just a little bit more smooth and silky. So if you can get him to a point where he can give you like 8 and 5 off the bench, that's what you want. That solid rotational piece, can do it all. Good defender, good rebounder, can score the ball when needed, space the floor. I'm okay with that. It's all developmental with him. I know he's a year older than Evan. He went back to USC for a year, and now he gets to play with his brother as long as he's able to keep developing as this team sees fit. So I am extremely excited to see what Isaiah Mobley can do, and I want to just have this summer league to explore that. And Isaiah had a very solid game. Not great, but it was solid. A solid debut. So we're good. You're good, Connor. You're good. Don't even worry about it. Sorry, Connor's in the private chat. But I was happy. All right, let's see if the sound's on. Can't hear you right now, buddy. But yeah, this is why we were a little bit late. His sound wanted to be a little bit of a pain in the rear.
We'll smooth out the sharp edges as the show goes on.
I already talked about my piece, but Isaiah Mobley, right there for you, because I know you weren't as happy. I thought it was an overall solid performance because he was doing enough to affect the ball on both sides.
Yeah,
he might not have shot particularly well, but
the stat line, it's what he's there for. These are people. This is their first NBA game.
Exactly.
So obviously they're going to look a little raw, a little rough, but that's what this is for, so they can develop and get better. And I'm still excited to see what he can do. It's exciting to have him and Evan together on the same team. That's awesome.
I mean, what I touched on when I was talking about him is watching the game. He didn't look scared. He looked confident in the shots he was taking. Yeah. He wasn't second guessing himself. He stroked this really nice three, and I'm like, okay, cool. I like that. Floor spacing, precisely what we needed. We didn't need another big man who just crowds the paint nonstop. We need one who's able to space the floor a little bit more, give a nice all-around game, just like his brother does.
Yeah. Like I said, this is what the summer league is for, to develop these players. And, I did like what I saw from him on the floor. Just needs to, get the shooting down.
It'll come. But yeah, someone who had the last rookie we'll talk about. Like we said, this is going to be shorter, probably not as much to talk about. But the rookie we're not going to get to see this year outside of summer league. He's going to be doing a year overseas.
I know
he had such an interesting and phenomenal game. That was Luke Travers. Like, look at that quintuple single. The 6'5", 3, 2, and 5. That's right.
Yeah, on both ends.
Five blocks as a 6'7" wing.
Yeah. I absolutely loved what I saw from Travers. Oh my God, he was so fun to watch. Some of those passes he was making, some of those blocks, it was just so fun to watch him. And I wish they weren't. They're sending him overseas, aren't they?
Yeah, they want to give him another year to work on his scoring and refine his shooting and everything.
God, he was so fun to watch, and I know he would be fun to watch on. Imagine you remember that play last season? Kevin Love, the behind the back pass to Jetty, and then he made that through. Imagine that kind of dynamic, but take out Jetty and put in Travers.
The issue with Travers isn't, and this is why I get why they're sending him overseas. He can't shoot. So you could imagine that situation all you want, but as soon as
we'll reverse it. Have Travers do one of those reach-around passes to Kevin.
Okay.
There we go. But you see, we're working it out.
But you want to know what kind of game this just like these stats remind me of? And I know I'm not saying he's going to be an all defensive player when I say this, but Draymond Green, Swiss Army.
Oh yeah. He can do. Once he has his shooting down, he's going to be able to do pretty much everything on the floor on both ends.
Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. They're like, yeah, let's use a draft pick on him this year, and then we know we have his rights, and we'll work. Then we'll work on the contract. So because he was one of those players who are like, he has potential, but I don't know if he'll get drafted. And out in the Cavs are like, well, with pick 59, we're taking him. Or 54, was it? 54.
Yeah.
But
that state, the Rocket is going to be full. If they actually like put him on the roster, the Rocket's going to be full of mullets.
Oh, and Connor will be one of them. He'll try to grow back his hair just for that.
Yeah, I'll use some Rogaine, try to get the mullet back.
But no, I mean, overall,
who would you say? Well, did you talk about Nemhard?
I mentioned him a little bit.
Okay.
So
yeah, he balled out.
Yes,
I was when, was he on a 2A last season?
Yes, he was on a 2A last season.
Yeah. I never really enjoyed him playing last season, but he balled out tonight, and I might be coming around. What did he have?
20 points.
20 points. My
5 rebounds and 5 assists, if I remember correctly, to go along with that.
So he balled out.
I mean, he balled out in G League. He averaged 24 points a game last year.
Yeah, with the charge. Yeah. So, maybe I'm gonna come around on them hard. We'll see. Who would you say would be the MVP of the squad tonight?
Funny enough, a player we haven't talked about, Amar Silla, going perfect from the field with 19 points, 8 boards, 1 assist, 1 steal, and 1 block.
Yeah,
I don't know much about this guy. I know he's a camp invite. He's a single. I'm looking him up right now. He's 20 years old. He is a Senegalese professional basketball player. He is 6'9", and he is playing center. So he's that weird tweener center power forward.
Yeah.
But he had a ton of energy.
Yeah, he did. He looked good. And a good mustache. No, I liked what I saw from Silla, like you said, perfect from the field, 19 points. He was looking good.
Played good defense, arguably the best defender we had out there.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, he looked bigger than he is on television. So that because it's 6'9". Oh, I thought he was like 6'11". Cool.
Yeah. He looked like a 7-footer out there, but I guess 6'9". I mean, he was getting his. So that's your MVP.
That's probably mine.
Yeah, it was between Silla and Nemhard. I'm gonna go with Nemhard.
That's fair. I mean, he did he was all over the place, so I can totally understand that. On the Spurs, you could argue that Josh Primo is the MVP, but I think the player all of us really cared about seeing how he did was Malachi Branham from Ohio State. I'm just we're Ohio people, if you can't tell. This is a show about the Cavaliers. But he was who I wanted the Cavs to draft.
Mm-hmm.
He had a solid game, not great. It was statistically 15 points, 3 rebounds, 6 of 15 shooting. So he shot 40%, and then he was 2 of 6 from 3. He was considered raw. I think he's going to be a steal in a few years, but overall, great solid game. Enjoyed watching him, and I can't wait to see more. I'll watch his career with great curiosity.
Yeah, absolutely.
So any final thoughts?
No, I think we covered everything. What's coming up next for the Cavs?
So next, hold on, they tweeted out their entire schedule just shortly ago.
The Nuggets, right?
I think so. I'm double checking.
Nuggets on Sunday. Yep.
So real quick, something I do want to say is I can confirm that Colin Sexton is in Cleveland right now. He is
okay.
My buddy DeAndre, who says he wants to come on the show eventually. He is a photographer, and he was shooting Colin's workout session for him today. And
in Cleveland.
Yeah, so you can go follow him at dp.co_ on Insta, and on his story right there is Young Bull and Reggie Lewis at a private gym working out. So
I mean that's boding well, right?
I mean, in my eyes, yes, because let's be honest, if he didn't want to be in this city, do you really think he'd be spending his off season here?
Off season in Cleveland. Yeah, you've got a point.
So, I mean, we'll talk about Sexton's free agency before we head out. And we know the market for him's kind of dried up, and I think right now his best bet, if he wants to bet on himself, is taking a short-term deal.
Yeah.
Let's say like 3 years, 12 to 15 million a year. And the third year is a player option. So he gets this recovery year 2 to show, hey, this previous year wasn't a fluke and I was just still recovering at that time. And then if he builds his stock back up, he can opt out after year 2, sign elsewhere if he really wants, or work on an extension with the Cavs, depending on where we're at that point in time.
Isn't this Kevin Love's last year on his contract?
On the $30 million contract.
Renegotiate his deal on like a vet minimum.
Yeah. But
then that frees up cap space for Colin Sexton down the road, right?
Yeah, but I don't think it's about the cap space for down the road. I think it's about the cap space for next season specifically.
Yeah. So that's what
next off season.
Sign a shorter deal for Colin Sexton, and then when Kevin Love's contract ends, I would love to see Kevin Love spend the rest of his time in Cleveland. I love Kevin Love.
I think he's made it clear he kind of wants that. So we'll see.
Yeah. So renegotiate that deal, and then that frees up space to sign a longer and more lucrative contract for Colin Sexton. He's not
going to go after the goat whale.
The what?
The goat whale.
Moby
Dick. The next summer, Moby Dick.
I don't know who we talk. Oh, LeBron.
Yeah.
You think we're actually?
I'll say this. Between Jason Lloyd and Brian Windhorst, those are the two people most plugged into LeBron. And
Windhorst keeps mentioning, he's like, watch what they do with Sexton and what they do the next couple off season or this off season, and what they do with Sexton, and that'll kind of shape your idea on what's going to happen with LeBron.
And pay attention to what the Lakers are doing, which as of right now hasn't been much.
They're not really giving up the bag or not giving up the bag, but giving up everything to get Kyrie to make LeBron happy. LeBron's not signed an extension. So,
the LeBron not signing an extension, a lot of people are making a lot of too much out of that because realistically he can't sign an extension until August 4th. That is when he is extension eligible. So I see people like, oh, he hasn't signed an extension. No, he legally can't sign an extension right now. It's a bit of a tricky situation. We don't know.
There haven't even been like rumblings of like.
There was no rumblings of last time he signed an extension with them.
That's true. He keeps things kind of like
low key. You'd never know. Like think about it. When he left Cleveland the first time, everyone was saying it's the Knicks. It's the Knicks. When he left Miami to come back to Cleveland, everyone kept saying he's just going to re-sign with the Heat with this new deal, this, that, and the other. Nope. Left Cleveland the second time. The Cavs thought they might have a shot, but they're like, we'll see. If we lose him, we lose him. And they lost him. And they granted, that was a self-inflicted wound, in my opinion, because the Cavs facilitated deals that allowed for that move to become possible.
Yeah.
So overall, I'm gonna wait. August 4th is the day I have circled on my calendar. It'll be interesting to see what happens there. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the rest of Summer League, and I think we'll be back again at a unspecific day next week. Just because tonight it was a first summer league game, and that's why we wanted to come on here and talk real quick, because it made the most sense to do that. Because we'll have at this point we'll have the majority, if not all, of summer league to talk about next week. Next time we're on next week, so maybe we're going to be talking about the Cavs in the summer league championship game. Who knows? Which, by the way, did you see they're giving
rings?
Yeah.
I was like, damn, okay.
I sent that to Nick, and he's like, why are summer league players getting rings? And I said, look, dude, these are players that may not, whoever wins this, whatever teams win this, that's something for a coach to say, hey, I led my team. For a prospective coach who wants to make their way up the ranks, won a summer league championship. For some of these players, they may never win championships. So it's a way to say, hey, I got this one. It may only be a summer league, but at least I got it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and the ring is bland for an NBA championship ring, but it's still nice.
Still a ring.
But Connor, anything you want to say before you head on off?
No, it just feels good to be back podcasting, talking about the Cavs.
Yeah, it really does.
I'm happy.
Because this was his idea.
It was
his idea.
It'll be back, and we'll smooth out the hiccups, and we're gonna get this train rolling. I'm excited for the season to start. I think it's October 18th is tip off for the season. I think
we don't have a schedule yet, but I think that's the rumor.
Yeah, somewhere around there. So I'm just so excited. It feels good to be back.
But if you do find yourself with some free time, go ahead and head over to our Twitch. We aren't streaming there right now, and the only reason why is because our brother Taylor Cleek is on there playing Little Nightmares. So you can go watch that at twitch.tv/Watt_Real Podcast. That's REEL. So Watt_Real Podcast. Go watch him on Twitch there. Ooh, getting over COVID still.
Oh no, I've been there, done that.
But with that, signing off. I am Matt.
Connor.
And this was the first episode of Back in Gold. We can't wait to see you again, and hopefully sooner rather than later, we'll both be sporting some of those new jerseys whenever they show up. So
I'm excited to see what those look like.
But until then, go Cavs, let them know, and we'll see you next time. Peace.